Good afternoon and welcome to a chilly North Yorkshire, and we're just outside the Motorist with Mazda and the new CX-80. I'm Ben Quirk, welcome to Planet Auto. Now everybody's heard of Mazda, a Japanese car manufacturer that made some really cool cars that featured in films like The Fast and Furious. But there's more to it than JDM performance like Mazda Speed. They sell an exceptional range of SUVs and cars. Versatile, practical, and the price point is spot on. Now this is a new era. The first 7-seater by Mazda, the CX-80. And to break it down, you've got the CX-60, the CX-70, the CX-80 and the CX-90. But we don't see the 70 or the 90 in the UK. But that doesn't really matter, because now we have CX-80, which falls in the middle. Meaning you get a decent 7-seater with the driving dynamics of CX-60. Now it's built on the same platform. And don't worry, they've not just literally turned CX-60 into CX-80. They've refined the steering, they've changed the suspension, and they've made it agile, dynamic. The kind of thing that you want out of a 7-seater SUV. Yes, maybe not quite as nimble, but you still want something that's engaging and fun to drive, which this is. But it doesn't compromise on the comfort for the passengers or the driver. It can still handle, which is what I want out of a family SUV. Now Mazda's plan for the future is not to just go full into electric, which is awesome. They want electrification in some form in every car by 2030, whether that's hybrid or e-rotary. Yes, the rotary is still around, which is mad. Yes, MX-30 uses it. Now that's the engine that, well, set apart Mazda. But you can still feel that, I suppose, heritage in these vehicles as well. They're not just modern creations, there's feeling to them. Like the Takumi, you know, these names, true Japanese origin. Anyway, what we're gonna have to do is take this on a proper road trip and see how a plug-in hybrid fares. Because the last time I drove any Mazda vehicle was around 2018. It's a rather understated look, sleek, nothing too garish, especially in this melted copper. And this is around a £650 option, which I think is a bargain. It's a new signature colour. The colour combo works extremely well too. Mind you, black and copper. It's always going to work, isn't it? Decent big windscreen and lots of safety. ADAS that doesn't nag, which is good. But you've got everything from lane mitigation through to 360 camera, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, blind spot detection, the whole shebang. Everything you need in a family SUV. And did I mention it handles? Yes, that's always going to be one of my key points. But also looks. It doesn't look oversized. It's got a great silhouette. It's a rather attractive SUV. And just look at the rims. Touches of chrome, colour-coded arches to give it the off-roady look, and decent space. You're not going green laning per se, but it means that you can get off the beaten track, especially as this is all-wheel drive. And you don't have to go for PHEV. In a word, this takes 6 and makes it super practical. 3 rows of seats, so 7-seater, or you could go for a 6-seater configuration. Captain seats in the rear. Stepping inside, keyless entry and black mirrors. It's very smart. Soft touches, love it. Now this, it's well appointed. Look at the wood trim too. You can even get Napa leather. The door opens nice and wide, and it's nice and easy to climb into. Even at my height, I don't really need to duck my head. I'd certainly call this a spacious cabin. And just look at the line that runs through the centre. It just makes it feel, well, open. Mind you, that's what you want in a family SUV. It's well put together with lots of premium materials and technologies too. You've got like the heads-up display, decent sized infotainment screen, and a lovely leather wrapped steering wheel. Oh, I like this. It almost wraps around you, but still has a spacious feel to it. Clever design language. If you like this type of video, why not subscribe to the channel? You just hit the button on the right hand side. It's free and you'll get an alert every time we upload. Also, if you do like the video, why not give it a like? It all helps and it means we can get more cars. Thank you. Nice. Solid build quality throughout. No movement in anything. But that's what you expect. Mazda owners are almost in their own league. Well, with say Saab, etc. Mazda brings something different to the table. Also, their owners are fiercely loyal. Once they've had a Mazda, the likelihood is they'll buy another one. But it's not surprising when you look at the reliability. Also, they're sensible. They know what their market wants. For example, they've not put everything into a touchscreen. you've still got physical buttons, digital displays, push button start, and the gear shifter is nice and easy to use. Everything is intuitive, and a big rotary here, which works as a joystick too. It's full of functionality and it's very easy to get to grips with. Reach and rake in the steering wheel, controlled with this little joystick here. And as I mentioned, great comfortable position even at 6'3". And look at the panoramic. It offers a great level of comfort and convenience for the whole family. And it doesn't matter which row you're in. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation, very simple to use and responsive. 360 camera, and it's even got a camera that helps and aids in loading a trailer. So yes, this can tow too. Jack of all trades, a master of all. Very clear cluster, and it's digital analog, one of my favourites. It's just very straightforward to read. 5 mile kilowatt hour. So this features the MyDrive system that we've used in other vehicles. And yes, again, it's a good setup. The 2.5 litre works well with the automatic box. It's all singing and dancing. Mazda Harmonics, which is 8 speakers, or like this one, you could go for Bose with 12 speakers. And we have MyDrive here, which is your driving modes. Electronic handbrake, auto hold. I love the way that you've got your physical buttons here, especially for the stereo. They've just made everything, well, simple. You can find your perfect position, and that's in the driver's or the passenger seats, because they're both electric. And don't forget the heated and ventilated. We even have a heads-up display. Height-wise, 6'3", absolutely no problem. Comfortable, luxurious seats. And as I mentioned, Napa leather. They're supportive, and they're perfect for a long haul. Let's take a look in the second row. Look at the length of these doors. Wow, and they open to 90 degrees, perfect for access. We've even got blinds, soft touches once again, premium materials throughout. Decent door pockets on the front and rear doors too. Look at that for a seat. Bear in mind, this is a 7-seat configuration. Stepping in, because of my long legs, I do have to fold myself in, but not as much as you'd expect. Also, I believe if I play with this, I can recline it and get my feet under the seat. And it's nice that this center console comes into the rear. Because it's all-wheel drive, you've got a transmission tunnel that's raised. The thing is, it doesn't really affect space. Rear headroom, my hair does brush ever so slightly. The one thing I have noticed is we've got the dark windows, but because so much light comes in through the front of the cabin and the panoramic, it's very airy. I expected it to be more cramped, especially when you've got a third row back there. The thing is, I can still recline my seats and slide it in a 7-seater. This is perfect. In the centre, you've got your heated seats and tri-zone. And don't forget your 2 USBs. Pull down armrest and luxurious, comfortable and supportive buckety rear seats. Airbags on the seats too. I'm hard pushed to find something I don't like. I can't really find many hard plastics. There's the odd one, but they're more functional. But it's still a good grade. It's very good for the price point, it really is. Let's see if we can get in the third row. Wow, this'll help. Little button down here. Very nice. So that releases. That isn't bad. Climbing into a 7-seater is never the easiest thing, but it is doable, especially when you've got so much movement on this seat. So you do have to fold yourself a bit, but it is quite doable. I've even got enough room for my feet. Now, because I am taller, I've had to sink down into the seat, but 6'3" and 18 stone, I'm not the target market to sit in a third row of seats. So my hair does brush, but even though it slopes, it's still doable, which I didn't really expect. You can essentially get 7 6'2" people in this. It's nice to see that you've got rear lights throughout as well. It's a nice illuminated cabin, and we've got a grab handle on every door. That's such a rarity. 2 cup holders here. I've even got my own USB. And if you had it set up as, say, the 5-seater, you put your load cover here. I've even got vents. Time to exit. I just have to squeeze through the gap. But the thing is, this would be far easier for children. But I can do it. The rear, like the front, is a design statement. It's a rather clean look, but it's also got sporty elements too, like this bottom lip, LED rear lights, parking sensors, and a reversing camera, and a sporty rear spoiler with a high-level brake light. Let's take a look in the rear. 12 volt, and more than that, yes, a 3-pin. Even with it set up as a 7-seater, you've still got, well, decent room. Yes, you're not going to get the family's luggage in there, but you will still get, you know, a few messenger bags and our Porsche Holdall, which will go on a plane, so it gives you an idea of the size. Rear light, and we can fold the seats from here too. And look, a 3-pin on this side too, 1500 watts. So yeah, it'll power most things. And there we go, because it's PHEV, we've got the charger. And look, the load cover neatly sits under here. Takes up no extra space. Clever. Tire inflation kit too. So, lift off. What's happening? I thought this dropped the seats, but no. It has a greater meaning. Look at that. The tow bar. So, yes, as I mentioned, you can tow. I do love a retractable tow bar. To drop the seats, literally pull this strap. And the headrest drops down. That's clever. As a 5-seater, decent space. I'd probably get my e-bike in there alone if I took off both wheels. No gaps, and everything lays flat, like pretty much level flat. That's so rare nowadays. There's usually a bit of anglage. Now, this is shaping up to be one heck of a 7-seater, especially at that price of around 56,000. Thing is, they're not all 56. You can get one for considerably less. But this is the one I'd go for. Let's drop the second row. Now that is spacious. My feet are just behind the front seats. What's that? About 6'2". Okay, let's take a look under the bonnet. The release is here, all once. There's also a petrol cap release there too, and the memory function for your seats. And it remembers pretty much everything. Seating position, steering wheel position, even some of the settings in things like the ventilation. To open, just lift this latch, and yes, struts. And this is the e-Skiactiv PHEV, so 2.5 litre 4-cylinder. And it's one heck of a powertrain. Nice and easy to see where you top up the fluids. And look, an old school radiator cap. Very nice. High up air intake as well. I think the only thing that remains now is to see how it drives. Welcome behind the wheel of the new CX-80. Under the bonnet we've got a 2.5 litre PHEV powertrain. And yes, it is pretty quick, which you wouldn't really put hand in hand with a 7-seater SUV. They're more, well, practical rather than engaging, dynamic. But that's where this differs. I mean, it has decent acceleration, and I mean decent acceleration. I have to hold it down for the moment, but yeah, long hauls, they're not the dull and drab thing that they used to be in bigger vehicles. Lovely weighty steering, and it's got a great response. And you can feel that the new suspension eats up all the in the road, especially in these mining subsidency areas. Pulling out of junctions. Listen to that. Now that's a proper roar. That's the kind of Mazda you want. Refined. Elegant. With raw power. Zooms in. It's very mild-mannered when you're not flooring it. And it's very nice to drive. Feels very well balanced as well. 7-seaters tend to lumber all over the shop. But with the refined suspension system of the CX-60 and the tunings that they've done to steering, the platform, and pretty much everything to make a smaller SUV into a bigger SUV, it's worked well. That's it. You never think of a 7-seater as an engaging vehicle because that's not what it is. And it's not meant to be. But this, it almost changes the script. My drive. So, sport, normal, EV, off-road and towing. And let's see how it goes around a roundabout. Well, that's coasting. Lots of safety too. And the ADAS isn't naggy, which is nice. You get the odd bleep, but that's about it. Whereas other vehicles, you get 3 or 4 bleep bleep bleeps. A little bit of lean, but nowhere near what you'd expect.
Apologies for that. Alexa heard the word safety, picked it up and ran with it, but it shows you how responsive she is.
On that note, you've got Alexa. Something I completely omitted. Thank you, Annabelle.
You're welcome.
Nice transition through the box too. Yeah, this is the one I'd go for.
Now, there's a lot of love for Mazda, and when you sit in this, drive it, look at it, experience it, you can see why.
Well, it's all transferred over, hasn't it?
Yes.
From the Mazda experience. And it's SUVs that sell. And that's just how it is nowadays. I'm very impressed.
It's going to be interesting where we're going to plan to go when we get this on a road trip.
I know. Let's hit sport and finish on a high. Where is sport? There's sport. 36 to 60. Wow, and the sound too. And it's holding revs. Nice. See how it corners? Nice. And pulls out of it well. Yeah, no, I like this. So let's go back into... I suppose it'd be normal, wouldn't it, out of those? And yes, it does have a pure electric range. Everything's intuitive. It's nice and easy to reach things. And you can see all the information you need at a glance. The cluster's very straightforward.
And what's nice is it's colour coded, so at a glance you can tell if you're in a different mode.
It's nice to see when you're recharging as well, because at the moment, if you look in the left dial, you can see, there you go, it's gone into recharge. This is the direction Mazda need to be heading, it really is. That's it, they've been known for great handling for years and years and years, and serious power. And the fact that you can, I suppose, push that over into something this size and still allow it to engage and feel cool, then yeah, you've hit the nail on the head, haven't you?